Hello and welcome to the session in which we will discuss the material requirements planning known as MRP. The MRP system is a solution for balancing inventory and production. So if you're a manufacturer, you're going to have to produce something and you also have to have inventory. You're going to have two types of inventory. Inventory such as raw material that you need before production, and you're going to have inventory after production. So you're going to have inventory before production and inventory ending product after production. Too much inventory will tie up your cash, will tie up your resources. So if you have too much of inventory of anything, either pre-production, during production, or after production, also during production, what you have is work in process. That's also inventory. If you have too much tied up in inventory, you are taking up cash that's not useful. And if you have too little in inventory, then it may cause delays. If you don't have enough raw material, then you may not be able to produce. If you don't have enough finished goods, you may not be able to deliver the product to the end customers. So the MRP ensures that you have the right materials and the right amount at the right time. This is the purpose of the MRP. So how it works, it's going to track demand and inventory. It's going to tell you what do you need and how much inventory do you have. It's going to plan material needs with precision. The key here is you are going to need a specific number of units. Therefore, you need this much material, this much raw material. Well, it's going to plan this with precision. It's going to align production schedule to avoid waste and downtime. It's going to plan your production so you will minimize waste and downtime. So why does it matter? Well, it's going to prevent stockouts as well as overstocking. You don't want to run out because you would lose sales. Customers are not happy. And you overstock, you would lose assets because assets are doing nothing in your warehouse. It's going to streamline production. And the overall goal is what? Is to reduce cost and make more profit. And this is what MRP is supposed to do. So in this session, we will dive a little bit more deeper into this material requirements planning, look at its report, how does it work, the process, the inputs, to give you an idea. Because if you're studying for a professional exam such as the CMA exam or the CPA exam, you might need to be familiar with this topic. Let's go ahead and get started. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, farhatlectures.com.
Hello everyone. Are you struggling with your CMA exam preparation? Do you feel that your review course is moving too fast, too brief, or not covering topics in depth? Well, if that's the case, at Farhat Lectures, we can help you. We build your confidence through in-depth explanation, not memorization or reading the slides. What we will do is we provide baby steps approach to break down complex topic so you can truly learn, understand the material. How do we do so? We offer video lectures, we offer practice MCQs, we offer true-false questions, we offer exercises, we offer the notes. Understanding the material is the first step in passing the exam. Once you understand the material, you have gained the confidence to pass, and you can pass with Farhat Lectures. What can you do now? Start your free trial. You have a 2-day free trial. Take a look at it. Give us a chance. Your risk is zero. You like it, you keep it. You don't like, you cancel. Give us a chance. We can help you pass the CMA exam.
A material requirement planning system is a production planning, scheduling, and inventory control system used in manufacturing to manage the production process effectively. Think of MRP as part of your inventory management or inventory control. Technically, it's a sub of your inventory account. It makes sure that material and components are available for production, whatever you are producing, maintaining the optimal level of inventory. You don't have too much, you don't have too little, and minimizes production delays by planning the proper, you remember it's a planning system, planning the proper elements for the production, proper structure. So in this session, what we will do, we will explain MRP using an example for a company that manufacture bicycles. So the best way is I'm going to tell you this is how it works, and assuming we're producing bicycles, this is how it should work. So the objective of MRP is to make sure material is available. It helps ensure that the right material is available at the right time for production. For example, in the case of the bicycle manufacturers, our bicycles would need frames, wheels, chains, and brakes before they can start assembling each bike. Also, you want to maintain a low level of inventory. Why? Too much inventory will cost you money. Saving on holding cost. Holding cost is if you have too much inventory, you have to store it, you have to maintain it, you might have to pay insurance on it. It costs money. This prevents our bicycle manufacturers from overstocking on materials like chain or wheels that may not be used immediately. So we don't have it until we need it, or we order it when we need it. Similar to the just-in-time system, but the software is planning all of this. So you have what's called an efficient production planning. MRP optimizes, make sure it's perfect, in quote, the production process by planning material and labor requirement based on demand forecast and orders, allowing the manufacturers to plan each step for the assembling of bicycles. So the whole point is to have an optimal production planning system. So you minimize your inventory, you know how much labor you need, and you order the proper amount. Now, there are inputs of MRP. We call them inputs. What are those inputs? We need them to start production. The first thing is master production schedule. Basically, we need to know what is the demand for the product. In our example, what is the demand for bicycles? This is the planned production schedule for finished goods. Before you start to produce something, you need to know, what am I producing? How many units? For our manufacturers' bicycles, it specifies the production of 100 bicycles next month. So we know we need 100 bicycles based on customer order and forecasted demand. So we forecast the demand, we need to produce 100. This is called the master production schedule, and this is an input function. So we need to feed this information to the MRP system. We need to produce 100 bicycles. Now from this schedule, from the MPS schedule, from the master production schedule, we can create bill of materials, or BOM. Well, if we need 100 bicycles, we need to list the components and raw material required to produce a bicycle, or 100 bicycles in this situation. We need to know what is our product structure. For example, the bill of materials specify that each bike would need 2 wheels, 1 frame, 1 chain, and 2 brakes, and whatever else it needs. The MRP system uses the BOM to know precisely what components are required. Now, obviously, we would engineer, or we would program our MRP to know this information. If we need to produce a bicycle, those are the components that you need. Now, what's going to happen? The third input is the inventory status, inventory record. The MRP, it's going to tell you, it's going to give you information about your current inventory levels, and order items help to avoid redundant orders. What does that mean? Well, if the company already have 50 frames in stock, MRP consider this before recommending additional orders. So it's going to check our current inventory level and say, okay, this is what we are short of, so it's going to recommend ordering enough for the new master production schedule to be finished, to be completed. So those are the inputs. There's a process of MRP. What's the process? The first process is starting with the finished product, the bicycle, how many we need. The MRP system increase or opens the BOM to determine how many of each component is needed. So this is step one. Basically, what do we need? How many units do we need? For 100 bicycle, we need 200 wheels, 100 frames, 100 chains, and 200 brakes. So now we click on that order, and this is what we need. Those are the components. Then we're going to do what? Net, or check our inventory. MRP then calculate the net requirement by comparing existing inventory level and scheduled receipt. If we already have 50 frames and 30 chains in stock, MRP will account for these. We already have them. So we need 100 chains. We already have 30. So supposedly what we're going to order is 70. And only recommend additional orders for what is still needed. Also, MRP will determine the lot sizing. These steps determine the amount of each material to order or produce, considering the Q, economic order quantities or the minimum order requirement. This is again an inventory technique you would learn about separately, but basically optimizing the inventory level. So if wheels are only available in lots of 50, MRP might suggest ordering 200, even if exactly 180. Also, MRP schedules when each material or component must be ordered or produced to align the production schedule. So it goes through this process. Step 1, checking. Step 2, lot sizing. Step 4, and time phasing. Step 3, and time phasing. Step 4. So if assembly is set to start 2 weeks, MRP would recommend ordering so they can arrive just in time. So it just kind of plan this whole production process. So this is what we called the process. So we have an input, and we looked at the input. We have process, and guess what we have next? If we have input, process, we have output. You guessed it. Outputs of MRPs, these are recommendations for when orders should be placed with supplier or production initiated. What does that mean? It means it's going to generate a report. For example, for the bicycle manufacturer, it would suggest ordering 200 wheels by the end of this week to ensure they are on hand for the production of next cycle. It's going to maybe create rescheduling notice, these prompt adjustments if there are changes in demand or production delays. So let's assume we went in there and we changed the order from 100 to 75. So if the supplier inform you of delays in wheels delivery, MRP will update the schedule to avoid disruption. So it might, send rescheduling notices based on any changes. An inventory report, MRP provides updates on inventory level, allowing the company to monitor material flow and adjust orders as necessary. Those are the outputs of MRP, and those are all helpful for decision making. The benefit of MRP, basically we went, we talked about the benefit, or we implied them, but let's list them. First, it improves inventory management. It helps avoid shortage and excesses. So the bicycles manufacturers won't need to stock up too many chains or wheels, saving on holding costs and reducing weight. Well, it's going to enhance the production efficiency. It's going to optimize this process by providing precise timing for material orders, when to order. And MRP helps the bicycle company reduce downtime and production delays. And obviously, if you are delivering on time, you're going to have a better customer satisfaction with a well-organized production plan. The manufacturer is more likely to meet delivery date. And what's that going to happen? It's going to make customers happier. And what's that going to happen? We're going to have a repeat customer. This customer is going to tell other companies that if you want to get your product on time, use this company. And obviously, cost reduction, efficient scheduling, and inventory management reduce inventory and production costs. And this is important, as the manufacturers don't need any overstock of material. So those are the benefits of MRP. And you guessed it, just like we have benefits for everything, we also have challenges or disadvantages. The first one is its data dependency. The MRP is as good as the data that you input in that system. So MRP requires accurate and up-to-date data from the bill of material, inventory record, and master scheduling. So it's as good. It's a software, but how good is it? It's what you feed it. It's data dependency. I'm sure at some point they will have AI into those MRPs, but we're not talking about this. So if the bill of material lists 2 brakes per bike, but only 1 is actually needed, it would lead to an unnecessary order. So you already have in your system programmed that you need 2 brakes per bike. But if only 1 is actually needed, if you have the bike that you're only using 1 brake, you would overorder. Complexity. For companies with large number of product, MRP may be challenging to manage, requiring precise tracking of components of material. Think of companies, I just want you to imagine companies like Apple Computers, where they are manufacturing the iPhone. Think about how many components goes into that iPhone. Whether Apple produced that component or buy it from a supplier, you have to coordinate all of this. Well, you have to be very precise using a computerized system. Forecasting accuracy, remember, it relies on forecasted demand, because the first thing we do, we have to tell MRP this is what we need to produce, and it will help us. But if the demand is incorrect, then everything else is incorrect. So if the manufacturers overestimate bicycle demand, they may overproduce, leading to excess stock. So it's as good as the data that we feed that software. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. Which of the following best Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. Which of the following best describe how MRP prevents stockout and overstocking? Is it by storing excess material for high demand period? No, we don't want to have excess material. MRP does not help with that. The whole purpose of MRP is to have enough for the production. B, by aligning inventory level with actual demand forecast? I would say yes. This is what I just said. Your inventory level for the raw material is aligned, is in sync with the actual demand. Between A and B, I can take out A, keep B. By prioritizing low cost material regardless of demand. No, why would you just prioritize low cost because it's low cost? How good if we have a low cost material sitting in the warehouse doing nothing? We don't want that. C is out. By increasing lead time for supplier order. Increasing lead time would delay production. It doesn't help with the stockout. It doesn't help with the stockout. Therefore, as we predicted, the answer is B. What should you do? You want to go to farhatlectures.com, look at additional resources that's going to help you whether you are studying for your CMA, professional certification, accounting courses, finance courses. Farhat Lectures is always here to help. Invest in yourself.